And let me tell you what I did like. I did like at the beginning when Shane came out and he called himself the best in the world. Okay, and everybody booed. They was chanting CM Punk, so he said it in French. And everybody booed again, and then they started to go, "You suck." And Stephanie's like, "Yeah, Kurt Angle already retired. You need to be bringing him up." And then, of course, Miz came out and attacked him, which got a huge pop. That was really physical. Miz is really going to be over. I wasn't again, man. I just almost think like this guy Aleister Black and Ricochet, who were in that Viking Warrior match, they're kind of put together and they don't really mix. It's almost, remember when DDP and Nash were going to do a team called the Insiders or some shit like that?
Yes.
And they obviously had no chemistry. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Di?
Yeah.
I did like the first surprise of Andrade coming out against Finn Balor.
Yeah.
But that's not what was a surprise?
Well, I didn't expect them to see him.
Bro, what did you know the topic of the show is a Superstar Shakeup?
I know what it is, but I just
thought literally like nobody should be a surprise because like anybody could come out.
Well, he was to me.
Like if he defeats the concept,
he was to me because he came out and he beat Finn Balor. Okay, but he was to me because he came out and he beat Finn Balor. That was really to me
because he's a Latino and he went over. That's why you're happy. You're excited. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well,
that's why you thought that was really good.
The rest of the show in my voice and my thoughts, since you already know what I'm going to say.
What else?
I did like Elias bearing the Canadians. I got a tremendous amount of heat, and what do they bring Ray out there for? So he can get destroyed by Lars? I mean, that is a friendship thing there. So,
okay.
And I like Sami Zayn, bro. The whole place is going absolutely nuts for him, right? And then he just turned it around and stuck it in their ass. That was hilarious. What I didn't like is Alexa Bliss is supposed to be a heel. She acted like a complete babyface in this segment.
Yeah, I don't bro, it's like that's the thing. I don't know anybody's like character on that show.
Right.
And so I have no idea how they're going to act this, but like so when they act, I don't know whether they're heels or babyface or whether like I don't know what I don't know anything about these guys.
Okay, here's the thing that we always say: when somebody's getting destroyed or not getting pushed or something like that, they probably have heat, right?
Right.
This guy has to have heat. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
EC3.
Yeah.
Bro, he came out and said, "I'll fight anybody," or whatever and Braun Strowman came out.
Right.
He came out. I said, "Okay, this ain't gonna end well."
No, if he gets heat on him next week, I could see maybe that would add a story to it. But he's, I don't know.
Well, they always,
like I said, bro. I don't know. There's nobody on that show that's interesting me right now.
Yeah, not even Becky Lynch.
Nothing.
They tried to end it with her.
flat.
That meant nothing. It's really, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to grab me, but there's nothing grabbing me right now. I read let me read this thing. It was an interesting line I read.
Yeah.
On Jason Powell. Because I read his, I recorded it. I went back and watched the first hour and a half, and I noticed I was fast forwarding through most of it because there was no like angles or nothing.
Right.
And so I just read his review.
Right.
For the rest of it, but there was this comment in here that I want to talk about. Here's what Jason wrote. Okay, so the Sami Zayn Alexa Bliss.
Right.
This is weird because I think this is a weird narrative, right?
Right.
So Jason always does his point of view from like sevens. But this segment was like, he says, "This was a blast. It was so much more fun to watch Zayn turn on his hometown fans and have them embrace him as an exception, as we saw Daniel Bryan do on SmackDown recently. The fans were great. They surely knew where this was going, and they even played along when Zayn turned on them rather than continuing to cheer him. So is Bliss a babyface now or just this week?" Okay, so
right, same thing I asked.
Okay,
right.
But no, not that. I want to go to the line before that. That the fans knew where this was going and played along.
Right.
It's like, God Almighty, is it seriously? Is that what? So they're admitting that these fans just come to hijack the shows. So like
some of them
response. It's like, oh, they're going to play along with the way they're supposed to react for once, and like this is going to be a good segment. It's just very strange that like we're looking at the fans now as like this separate entity that has this groupthink, and they can single-handedly bury or put something over each show, each segment.
Right.
It's like they have a ridiculous amount of control over the show. And I
something
think they know
which is in the past where they had zero control over the show. So
the thing is, it's like the fans didn't really come to shows should just want to control the show. They came to be entertained.
Right.
These fans are kind of like they're coming in with like a mindset like activism.
Because what happened is what happened was they kept going to these shows and they weren't being given what they wanted, so they started to rebel and push what they wanted and do their own chants, and that's what we're at now. So now you have a choice of going, all right, I'm not going to listen to the fans, or I am going to listen to them, or I'm going to listen to, you've got to make a choice of what you're going to listen to.
But here's the problem with that.
You got to listen to your fans.
You don't face that much of a problem in Mexico because the fans are more honest. Okay, is the problem you have with this? You don't know how they're going to react.
Right.
You literally don't know how they're like last night. They could have cheered him when he was booing them and burying them.
Right.
They could have cheered that fans are because they were cheering him when he came out to begin with.
Right.
And he buried the fans the week.
Well, I'm assuming that some of those fans may not have known that he turned heel because he just turned heel last week.
Well, and plus Montreal just loves their performers anyway. Right. They don't.
Right.
If you're in Canada, you're Canadian, you're going to get cheered automatically because you're the most important thing about you and your character is that you're Canadian first. Yeah. Right. Could you imagine they treat all the American wrestlers that way here in the States?
Yeah, good luck on that.
Okay, because you were you're mentioning something from Jason Powell's review. I was actually reading another review on the Torch, and let me see here. This guy's name is Zach Haydorn. Haven't heard of him. This is the first time I've read one of his reviews. But this is it goes so along the lines of what we talk about sometimes when we talk about women's wrestling and how they're presented and stuff. And this is like total encapsulation of how a lot of these fans think now. Okay, so he's talking about Lacey Evans. Okay, so Lacey Evans came out last night and challenged Natty and kind of trash talked her and stuff. So here's what I'm reading as we were talking about it earlier. So it says Lacey Evans hit the ring. She called Becky and Natty adorable, but said that the Raw Women's Championship couldn't be around the waist of an old has-been like her. Evans then addressed Lynch and told her that a true woman could teach a man a thing or two. Okay, now here's his analysis of the segment. Good stuff from Evans, though I can do without the sexual innuendo and poses that she hit while speaking. Her words were in line with her character and were delivered in a logical and effective way. So
there's a war against sexuality.
Yeah, so she did great, but she can't. She can't.
Bro, there's somebody on Twitter posted. I don't know if it's a famous person or not, but they were like that Lacey Evans' character is disgusting. It's turned the channel heat. I'm like, what the?
Oh yeah, someone.
I don't know who did, but like, come on.
Yeah, someone tweeted that to Road Dogg, and he responded.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? I don't know. These fans today are just so detestable,
Yeah, but I think. Have you seen any of her stuff? I think she's good, man. I think she's real good. I think it's going to.
We'll see. That punch that she gave Becky last week would have been a lot better if Becky would have sold it.
No.
She didn't sell it. It's like big girl punched her right in the face, and she took one step back and just came right back at her. I don't know. It's like.
Well, the other thing before we move on is that SmackDown will have aired by the time the show airs, but that they made an announcement that Vince is going to come out and announce the biggest acquisition in SmackDown history. So what do you think? Roman's moving over? You think he's going to bring Brock back up? Because I know they've advertised Brock as far as being on the SmackDown on Fox.
Oh, probably then. Yeah.
And Ronda too, but as you know, she's on an impregnation vacation, as she put on her social media.
Right. Jesus Christ. Yeah.